guys, welcome to my channel. So this is my aunt, and as you can see, she's bald as a cucumber.
Thanks, Lauren. My name's Elizabeth, and I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and I had a debulking surgery in December, and I've been going through chemo treatment since January. Chemotherapy treatment since January. I've had 18 weeks of chemotherapy, actually 17 weeks, and I have 1 week left to go. And now I'm at the point where I have no hair, very thin eyebrows, and quite a few gaps in my eyelashes, even though I still have them. And so Lauren is going to make me over.
Well, we found when she started going through chemotherapy, she asked me a couple tips about how to do her makeup when she started, you know, her eyelashes were getting thin, etc. And so we looked online on YouTube to see if I could send her anything because she lives in Colorado, and I was like, well, it's kind of hard for me to explain. So we looked on YouTube to see what was out there, and it's like very slim pickings as far as tutorials for people going through chemotherapy. So we thought it would be nice to show an everyday look, because everything that's on YouTube is very dramatic and like not something that you would wear every day, I feel like. So we thought we would do an everyday look for people. So why don't you tell them some of the problems that you're having, since some of the things you've noticed about your face or skin since you started chemotherapy.
Okay, so since I've started chemotherapy, my skin is very dry, and I've got flaky spots. I've developed some brown spots on the side of my face since I started chemo. Also, as you can see, my bald head is pretty white, and the rest of me has a little bit of color. And so I always have to even that out. And then of course all of the thinning of facial hair has been hard. And because of losing some weight, I've got lines around my lips, and also, you know, to do with my age. And so those are some of the things that I've had problems with.
So since she has really dry skin, I'm going to start off with a really heavy moisturizer, which is this Nivea cream. And I really like it because it's super thick and super hydrating, so it doesn't like dry up within a couple minutes that it goes onto your skin. So I'm just gonna go, your face is still wet from that. So I'm just gonna plop on little dabs over her face, and that just makes it easier to spread. And rub it in. And you don't need a ton because it's so thick.
It's like getting a facial. You can keep doing that all day, Lauren.
Okay, so now her face is pretty moisturized, and I'm gonna go in after that. And anyone who suffers from dry skin, I would recommend a facial oil. So I'm just gonna use the Botanical Society's. It's 100% argan oil, and I'm just gonna put a couple drops on top, and I'm gonna mix that in. So bring your head back a little. Okay, so I'm just gonna mix this in, and I put this stuff on before bed, and if I know I'm gonna be having a really long day where my skin might be drying out, I put it on then as well.
Nice thing about chemo hair is that you don't have to worry about getting makeup in it.
Okay, how does your skin feel? Oops. How does your skin feel?
Feels good.
Feels nice and soft and moisturized and plump?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to be doing is applying illuminating primer. And this one is from L'Oreal. It's the Magic Lumi Illuminator. And this is really nice just because it will keep your makeup in place all day, but if you're suffering from dull looking skin, it really adds some nice underlying light to it. Has a bit of shimmer, but not like sparkly or anything, so it catches off the light and reflects really nicely.
You put it on your whole face?
Mm-hmm.
Not just your cheeks or your bridge or your nose or anything like that?
Highlighter you do that with. So you can see she has like a nice illumination to her skin, and and that'll stay under the foundation and just kind of give her a nice radiance underneath her foundation. Okay, so for her foundation, I'm going to be using Rimmel London Perfect Match in the shade Light Nude. And I'm just going to put a little bit of that on my hand. And I'm just going to apply that in dabs to her face. Again, like everything else. Okay. And I'm using the Blend Smart makeup brush. This is sold at Sephora and it's really great for blending things super fast. So I really like applying my foundation with this. Okay, so since we have applied so many oils and moisturizers, we want to make sure that that foundation is not going to slip anywhere. So I am going to put a loose setting powder over it. So I'm going to be using this powder by Maybelline New York, and this is in the shade Light. And it's just a loose powder. So I'm going to take this big brush. So I'm going to take this big brush and just put a bit of it on there and sweep it around her face. I'm going to tap the excess off so it doesn't go flying everywhere. And because we've done such a good job illuminating her, it's not going to make her look matte or dull. It'll just help set. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is conceal her. Okay, I'm going to be using Better Skin Super Stay Concealer by Maybelline, and this is in the shade Ivory. So I'm just basically, look up, going to pop this under her eyelids here. And bring it out a little bit and around her nose.
Don't make me look like Donald Trump.
And I'm just going to take this big flat brush and blend it out. So look this way. And you want to blend it into a triangle basically. So from here to here, out to here. Okay, so now from there, her face is pretty pale and pretty dead looking right now. So I'm going to go back in.
That's one of the other problems I have.
What?
Is that my skin, because when you're going through chemo, you lose platelets and white blood cells and red blood cells. You do get a very pale look about you.
So we're going to go back in and add some color that would just naturally appear. So I'm going in with Revlon Photo Ready powder. And this is in the shade medium to deep, and it really doesn't come on that dark. So again, I'm just going to take a big powder brush and sweep a bit of that on there, and I'm just going to go around her temple. So I'm going to make a point here, and then I'm going to bring it up and blend it around, focusing here, and then back down, and then underneath. I'm going to do the same on this side. Again, sweeping it across the cheekbone, bringing it up to the temple, and back down. And this just adds in a little bit of life.
I'm a little bit.
Okay, so now we're going to focus on a bit of contouring, which is just going to bring in a little bit of sun-kissed look to her cheeks and make her look really lively. So we're using the Maybelline Master Contour by Face Studio, and I just picked this up at Ulta, and this is in the shade medium to deep. I'm taking this angled brush to apply the contouring. So I'm just going to sweep that along where her cheekbone would be. And the nice thing about this contour is it doesn't apply really heavy the first time you put it on. So you can kind of build it up, which I really like, because some you put on and they're like dark brown. Okay. So that same palette has a really nice natural looking blush in it. So I'm going to go back in with a small blush brush and just apply that to the apples of her cheeks. And they say that you're supposed to smile when you apply blush, but if you're older, you're not supposed to.
Me? What?
If you're older, you're not supposed to, because your skin will fall a little bit and it'll actually be under where it's supposed to go. So if your skin is starting to drop a little bit, then I would just look at the camera with a straight face and point out where your apple of your cheek is and apply it to that. So I'm just adding some natural blush back into her cheek. Nothing too heavy, nothing too dramatic. So the next thing we're gonna do is draw on her brows. And she went to, what was it?
A Look Good, Feel Better class that is offered by the American Cancer Society. I would highly recommend it. It's a free class. You can go online and find information about it. And they provide you with a makeup kit, and it probably is between $200 and $300 worth of makeup that's included in the kit.
Like some brands that I would love to have. Like they give you an IT Cosmetics brow pen, which is awesome.
I got Chanel fingernail polish and Estee Lauder products and Clinique products and Maybelline products. It's everything you need to do your makeup, from foundation all the way to mascara and lipstick.
And it's
everything.
free.
Lip liners, lipstick, eyebrow pencils, eyeshadows, everything. And the class is free and the makeup's free. They teach you things that apply to putting on makeup when you have cancer. One of the things I learned at the class is they don't recommend you wearing false eyelashes because your skin becomes too thin and too easily damaged, and so your skin gets damaged trying to take off false eyelashes. So if you lose your eyelashes, they don't recommend you wearing false eyelashes, which is something I thought I could do.
And I'm going to show you a great way to give the appearance of more depth to your eyes, even if you don't have eyelashes. She does luckily still have some eyelashes, but the makeup look I'm going to do is going to be really soft. And I think that the problem a lot of people make is they make their eyes too harsh, and when you don't have eyelashes, you can't do a harsh look. So I'm going to show you kind of how to feather out your eyeshadow to give it a softer look. So this is what the IT Cosmetics brow pen looks like. It has this pen, and on the other side it has a little spoolie. And it's in a really nice shade. It's just a universal brow pencil, so I guess it's the same shade for everyone. So I don't know if we weren't recording or what, but I was just saying the best way to draw in eyebrows is to make little strokes upwards. So we've already done to here, and I'm just going to fill out the rest. And I'll do this one so you can see, just in case it did cut off. Okay, so brow before, brow after, before, after. So we're going to go in and do this one now. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply an eye primer, and this will not only help cover any veins that are showing through, any pinkness on your eyelids, but it'll also help set your eyeshadow to cover more and last longer. And I'm going to blend that in on her eyelids and just kind of smooth it out so there's no clumps of it anywhere. And do the same thing over here. Make sure we get down to the base. And then we're going to start with the shadow. So I would really recommend sticking with neutrals, browns, earth tones, nothing gray, nothing black, because over time that will start to wear off and just make your skin look gray. So that's the thing you want to avoid the most. Okay, so I'm going to start with a really neutral shade, and I'm using the Revolution, Makeup Revolution London Redemption Eyeshadow Palette, Iconic 1. And I'm going to start off probably with a shade like this or this, which is just a nice champagne-y shade. And I'm just going to apply that loosely. And shimmers are great because, again, they're going to add a little bit of life back into your skin. Okay, so that's a really pretty base, but you don't want to look like the disco queen, so I'm going to go back in with a matte brown for the crease. I'm going to either use this one or I'm going to use this one, which is just depending on whether you want it a little less dramatic or more dramatic. So with darker shades or eyeshadow just in general, you'll always want to apply the lightest, most neutral shade all over the base. You want to add the middle tone towards the outer edge here and as far into the crease as you want. Since she has larger eyelids, I'm just going to apply it to the outer third. Again, we're just kind of adding some warmth and depth to the eyelid by adding it in this shape. Okay, so now on to the next thing that I was telling you about, which is sort of creating a false lash line when you don't have lashes and can't wear lashes. What you're gonna do, you can either take an angled brush like this or one like this, just depending on your preference. I'm going to start out with this one and then refine it with this. And I'm going to be using this NYX Wicked Dreams here palette. And this is just really nice because it has a lot of different shades, a lot of neutrals, and I really recommend this. It's about 14 bucks at Ulta. I'm going to go in with this shade or this shade for the lash line. And I'm just going to apply it to the edge of my brush. And what I'm going to do, pull back the lid a little bit and sweep it here. Again, this is sort of like a building process, so there's going to be a couple different steps to this. And so I'm going to go back in with that angled brush and get the darkest brown in the set, which is going to be this. It's like a chocolate brown. And I'm going to sweep just a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And I'm going to apply this to the lash line really thin. So now you have a really pretty champagne color. You've got dramatic but soft at the same time. And as it wears out over the day, it's not going to leave any grayness. It'll just be nice neutral skin tones. Okay, so if you do still have lashes, you can apply a little bit of mascara. And what is one of the things you've noticed now that you started chemo with your eyes?
Oh, my eyes water all the time.
So that means stick with a waterproof mascara. We're going to be using Maybelline, the Rocket Volume Express Waterproof, which has a really nice thick brush, and you don't need very long lashes for this to apply. So we're just going to sweep this onto her lashes. So she's going on a date, so she wants it to be just a little more dramatic, so I'm gonna put just a little bit of liner underneath, and I'm gonna go back in with that angled brush, the tiny one that we used to apply the top liner, and we're gonna apply the bottom. And I'm gonna choose a medium tone brown, so probably something here or here. And I'm just going to put that under her eye. And just the trick all around is always only apply it to the outer half of your eye and bring it in. So start out wide here and bring it in, and this just gives you the illusion of bigger eyes. Okay, so we're just gonna finish it up with this Maybelline Vivid Matte Liquid Lipstick, which I really like, and this is in the shade Nude Flush. And we're not gonna go with anything harsh, just pretty natural colors. So the finishing touch is just going to be a little bit of highlighter. Again, this is just going to add some nice radiance and light to your skin and just give you a really healthy glow.
The American Cancer Society also offers free wigs, and they give you one free wig, and there's all kinds of colors and styles to choose from. They are not previously used. They are brand new wigs. And if you can get a monofilament wig that has a net front, which is what this one is, it has a more natural look to it. Of course, I gotta style it a little bit. Actually, I'll get my stylist to style it for me. This one has a net front, so it looks a little bit more natural in the front. It doesn't look like a thick line for a wig.
And as you can see, the best makeup is a beautiful smile through all of this and a great spirit, which she very obviously has. So yeah, so that is the finished look, and she's ready to go on her date.
Well, we hope that this helps you look better and feel better about yourself as you're going through chemotherapy.